Hey, welcome. I'm so glad that you are joining me. Welcome. Good morning and cheers. Here's to you for being here. So today is another book club discussion, and we are talking about to win people over, speak to their wants and needs. I am, as you know, reading Influence and Persuasion by the Harvard Business Review Press. It's got several chapters by different people talking about influence and persuasion. So thank you for joining me today. We are talking about Nancy Duarte's chapter, which is to win people over, speak to their wants and needs. Before we get into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Michele Peterson. I am the owner, founder of Exactly Right Online Marketing Agency and the Marketing Results Academy. I am a direct response copywriter, a marketing consultant, and a coach. So thank you so much for being here with me. Clearly, online marketing is a passion of mine. And what is marketing but influencing and persuading people to do what you want them to do, right? Whether that is to buy your product, sign up for your email list, donate to your cause, whatever it is that you're asking somebody to do, in essence, you are trying to influence them. You are trying to persuade them to do that thing that you want them to do. So that is one of the reasons that I picked up this book and thought it was such a good read. The other reason, and why I encourage you to read it as well, is it is a very easy read. Like I say, there are individual chapters for specific topics related to influence and persuasion, and I think you'd get a lot out of it. So pick this book up at your either online or at your bookstore if you are interested. Interesting story. I purchased this when we were in Boston and we visited Harvard. My son is considering all of the different colleges and where he may want to apply for and attend. And so Harvard is making that list. So fingers crossed, right? What an awesome thing that would be for him. So without further ado, let's talk about winning people over by speaking to their wants and needs. Now, as a copywriter, I do that all the time. And my fellow copywriters, we do that, right? We dig deep and we figure out what are the wants and needs of our target audience. Who are we marketing to? And then we speak to them, right? Because we know that speaking to those wants and needs is what's going to compel them to take action. So take that tip from the copywriting world and use it in your marketing as well, okay? Really dig deep, figure out what people want and need. Now, what this really is you are being empathetic. You are empathizing with your customer, your client, your audience. You're empathizing with them to really understand them, understand their wants and needs. And Nancy Duarte, she says, opening line of the chapter is, practicing empathy can be difficult because you have to step outside your comfort zone to understand someone else's point of view. And that is so true. It can be a challenge, right? It can be uncomfortable to step out of yourself and really think about that other person and really walk a mile in their shoes, so to speak, right? If you can master that, however, not only will your marketing improve, so will your personal relationships, everything about your life will improve if you can develop that skill of empathy. So I really highly, recommend you looking into practicing and working on that. Nancy Duarte, in this chapter, she talks about actors doing that, right? They step into their roles and really good actors are really good at empathizing with that character and making us believe that they have now become that character. The example that she uses is Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie. Now, that's an old movie. If you have not seen it, I highly do recommend it. I'm showing my age because I remember this movie. But so in Tootsie, Dustin Hoffman has to be a woman. So he is, and that's part of the storyline of the movie, is that this man is walking around and being this woman. So he's not transgender. He's not, a man transitioning to be a woman. He just dressed as a woman. And I should have looked up what the story, why he was dressing as a woman, but I think it was to get a job. And so what she says is, and I should just read this to you because she succinctly describes it. So, and by the way, Dustin Hoffman, in doing this movie, it made such an impact on him that even later, and she says 30 years later, he was doing an interview with the American Film Institute, and he got emotional in describing the movie and his role in the movie and how it affected him. So let me read this to you. Before agreeing to work on the movie, Hoffman did some makeup tests to see if he would be believable as a woman, right? That makes total sense. If I'm going to do this, will I even be believable? And when he discovered that he could pass, but he wouldn't be beautiful, he realized he had to do the project. And this is why. He explained it to his wife. I think I'm an interesting woman as Dorothy Michaels. That was the character's female persona in the movie. So I think I'm an interesting woman as Dorothy Michaels. And I know that if I met myself at a party, I wouldn't talk to that character because she doesn't fulfill physically the demands that we're brought up to think women have to have in order for us to ask them out. There's too many interesting women I have not had the experience to know in this life because I've been brainwashed. So empathy made Hoffman's performance and the film's message more convincing and powerful. Empathy can make your marketing more convincing and powerful. It can make your message more convincing and powerful, which makes your results that much better. Okay, right? So your success really depends on your ability to grasp the wants and needs of the people around you, whether that's in your marketing, whether that's in trying to persuade your team to do something, whether that is to, get somebody to donate to your fundraising cause, whatever it is that you're asking somebody to do. Your success really depends on being able to grasp the wants and needs of those people that you're talking to, and then convincing them that what you're asking them to do will fulfill those wants and needs, right? So let's take that a step further. And when you're talking about marketing and empathy and marketing, yes, you have to understand the wants and needs, but you have to communicate how you are fulfilling those wants and needs with whatever it is you're offering. Okay. So, and here's the kicker. When people feel listened to, when people feel understood and listened to, they become more receptive to your message. And I'm quoting Nancy Duarte here. By doing the listening, you become more informed about what they really need. Not just what you think they need. And that's a big, important distinction, right? You may think you know what they need, and you're trying to empathize, and you think you know what they need, but you have to listen. You have to listen to what they're telling you. Hi, Leanne. You have to listen to what they're telling you so that you can be more convincing and more impactful. Right? So you can have more success when you are talking about what they really do want and need, just not just what you think they need, right? So this is empathy at work, specifically in your marketing, right? So is empathy something that you can learn? Absolutely. Yes, you can. One thing that I suggest, and this is actually what it's been proven to work, lots of people, and Nancy gives an example of Airbnb, the CEO and his team did this with success in trying to figure out what do their customers really want and need. What they did is they storyboarded the customer journey, right? So what that means is they mapped out all the different steps, all the different stages of the customer journey. Now, in this case, the guest process, the host process, the hiring process, they storyboarded all of them. And what happens when you storyboard and map the whole customer journey out is now you can see what does a customer need from you at every step along the way. And then you can make sure that you are fulfilling and you are addressing their wants and needs at every step of the way. When Airbnb did that, they found some huge gaps in their processes and they were able to fix them. They were able to, once they were able to fix them, of course, then they were able to have more success by giving those people what they wanted and needed at each of the steps. So what they said is, there were a lot of moments where we weren't doing anything, right? There were gaps in the customer journey. And by doing the storyboard, it helped Airbnb define its mobile strategy, and it even inspired some new features that helped with their, with the customer satisfaction of using their service. So it is really essential to be asking the questions to your customers. It's important so that you know what it is that they want and need. Remember, you want to check your understanding, right? You want to, of course, you want to dive deep and empathize, and you want to figure out what you intellectually and just instinctually think that they want and need. But then you want to confirm that you're right. So you don't want there to be that mismatch between what you think they want and what they really want, right? Because if you're just speaking to what you think they want, it's not going to connect. It's not going to resonate. You're not going to get them to do what it is you want them to do. So check for your understanding, and practice, right? Practice listening more. Practice putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and really thinking about what does it feel like to be them? What is it that they really, as a marketer, what is it that they need to hear from you? Where they're at now, what do they need to hear from you to move forward? How can you help them solve whatever problem that they're having if you don't know what that problem is, right? It's virtually impossible. You have to figure that out, right? And so I highly encourage you, do your research. Take the time to get to know what that is, what they want and need. Let me tell you how Nancy summarized this chapter. Empathize with the people you need to persuade to purchase your product or services or to work hard on your behalf. It gives you better ideas and it makes you worth listening to. Now, isn't that what we as marketers want? We want better ideas, right? Because we want to present those ideas in such a way that it will influence people. It will persuade them to do what it is we want. And do we want to be worth listening to? I do. Don't you? So, and on behalf of the clients that I work for, yes, right? I can tell you that every one of them wants to present better ideas and to be worth listening to. So that's what I have for you today on this chapter of Influence and Persuasion. Again, the author was Nancy Duarte. She is the CEO of Duarte Design and the author of several different books on presentations and presenting visual stories. She's an influencer herself, right? So I thought it was clearly Harvard Business Review thought she was influential enough to include her in their book. So I do highly encourage you to check her out. And I would love to hear what you think about empathy. And if you have some ways that you have developed empathy, right? Beyond just listening, beyond just storyboarding, beyond just imagining yourself as, being in somebody's shoes. What other ways have you found to practice empathy? One way that I have done in the past is be a secret shopper, right? If you want to know what a customer, what their customer journey is, and how all of your processes are being presented to that customer, do a little secret shopper visit to some place, right? So I've done this on behalf of my clients. You walk into some place or you call someplace and you want to find out, is the person answering the phone really following the scripts that they're supposed to? What is that person when the prospect or the client is calling on the phone? What kind of experience are they having, right? And so being a secret shopper or hiring the services of a secret shopper is one really good way to figure out what your processes look like to a customer, stepping into your customer's shoes on that behalf. But even deeper than that is you really need to know what it is that they want and need. And the best way to do that is to ask them. Have a conversation. Send them a survey. However it is that you're getting that information, you need to get it from them, right? There is no better means of getting that, but straight from the person involved, straight from your most ideal customer. Speaking of your most ideal customer, one thing that I do and I have all of my clients do is develop your customer avatar. Because when you develop your customer avatar, now you know who it is that you're speaking to, who it is that you're trying to influence and persuade. And it really will help you identify and define who that customer is and what their wants and needs are. So I have put together for you a worksheet on helping you define your customer avatar. Now, lots of digital marketers use this. Actually, Digital Marketer themselves has one. Digital Marketer, the company, that is. They have one. Everybody that you follow will have one. So I've put together mine. It's, I've taken bits and pieces from everybody and kind of tweaked them and made it my own in a way that I have found useful and that I have found useful in working with my customers. So I'm offering that to you for free just by going to let me make sure it gets into the frame, bit.ly, AV worksheet, AV standing for avatar. So bit.ly /AV worksheet is where you can get where you can download your customer avatar worksheet that will help you. It has lots of questions and things to think about, things to ask your customers, so you can define your customer avatar. So you can define clearly what it is that they want to need and what you need to speak to in your marketing. Okay, so I hope that helps. I hope you have found this conversation helpful. Thank you for being here with me. If you have found it helpful, useful, share it with somebody else that might also feel the same. I would appreciate that so much. And if you have been with me live or on the replay, because sometimes my connection isn't strong enough to see the comments all along when I'm live, and I get kind of wrapped up. So I honestly I forget to look for some of the messages, the comments sometimes. Leave me a comment and I will come back and look at them and reply to you. So thank you so very much for being here with me. Make sure that you turn on notifications, that first of all that you've liked my page, but also turn on notifications so that you know when I go live next time, because I love to have you join me. So thank you again. I appreciate you being here with me. And guys, that's it for today. I almost forgot. By the way, you're supposed to be looking at the camera of your device, and in my case, I'm using my phone. Make sure when you're doing these live videos that you are looking at the camera, not at yourself. Now, here's the difference. Right now, I'm looking at the camera. Now, I'm looking at myself. So see how it's different? You want to be making eye contact with your person. So, but in just looking at myself, I was looking over at the finish button. I remembered that I was wearing this scarf, and now I wanted to give a shout out to Linda Isgrig, my Pampered Chef consultant, who gave me this beautiful scarf. It has the Happy Spoon Pampered Chef logo on it. Just because she knows I am one of her, she was recognizing me. She was thanking me as being one of her clients and a big supporter of her and a big advocate for Pampered Chef products. If you love Pampered Chef like I do and you want to get in touch with her, I will give you a link to her page in a comment below too, just as a shout out to her and a thank you for such a lovely little gift. So that is what I have for you for today. Thanks for being here with me, and I will see you again next week. By the way, remember I do these Wednesday mornings at 8:30. I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.